Right, I think we're about ready to start. So thank you very much. I'm Jonathan Field from Open Fifth, and I'm here today with my colleague Fiona Borthwick. Thank you for inviting us to your Swedish Koha networking meeting. It's a pleasure to be here as always, and we're going to talk to you a little bit today about the development work that Open Fifth have been doing on Koha, but also talk a little bit as well about Aspen Discovery, which some of you may know already integrates with the Koha library management system. But to start with, just talking about some developments that we've been working on. So first of all, circulation triggers, which is hopefully coming in 2605. It's a big project that we've been working on over the last year or so with a particular customer, and it changes the way that overdue notices are triggered. So as you will know right now, there are a fixed number of overdue actions, so or triggers. So the first, second, and third notices. This new interface allows you to be able to set unlimited number of triggers based on a combination of factors. So this next screen shows you what it's going to look like. So you can see there's a new trigger section under administration, and you can see here that in this case we've actually got 4 different triggers, and you can see at the bottom of the screen there the different rules that we can apply. So we can define it down to item type level, to patron category level, and determine how we're going to send them out, SMS, email, and so on. So we're very excited about that, and hopefully that should be at 2605. It's in QA at the moment. The other thing to say about the triggers is they have their own modal dialog, which makes it easy to adjust and implement the triggers. So it basically steps you through the process of actually setting up a trigger, which I think is probably quite helpful. The other thing we've been working on at the moment is authentication protocols. And the benefit of this is that it will push a lot of the way authentication is configured into the front end UI. So at the moment, there's a lot of fiddling about on the server in order to set up authentication. There's a new modern user interface within Koha admin to set this up. We're hoping that Shibboleth and SAML will be in the 2605 release, and we'll work on the others, CAS and LDAP, for 2611. Whilst we've been working on this project, we've also added a couple of new features like welcome emails and the ability to add extended patron attribute mapping as well. So hopefully they will be useful. So this is a great enhancement in that it's work that currently we have to do for you, and hopefully you'll be able to do a lot of this work yourself now to make it much simpler. Here's a screenshot of what it's going to look like. So again, we're under administration, under a new setting called identity providers. As you can see from the drop down, we've got OpenAuth, OAuth, OIDC, and Shibboleth or SAML. And the properties that you get below that, in this case OIDC, are specific to the protocol type as well. And then a little bit further down the screen, you can see the extra options. On this screen, you can see a different set of parameters for OAuth. And on the right-hand side, the additional mappings that you can add as well, and attribute mappings. Related to that, we've also pushed the SIP2 configuration into the user interface as well. And this is already in 2511 for those of you who are already on 2511. It means that all the server-side configuration that we do for you right now, tweaking your SIP2 parameters, you can now do this yourself through the user interface. It does pretty much everything apart from the initial setup of the server itself. The great thing is you could change things. There's no restart required. Things happen immediately that you've set them. And importantly, when we configure, well, when you migrate to 2511, the existing settings that you have right now in your SIP2 config file will get migrated into the new user interface. And this is what it looks like. So we have institutions, which are the high level settings. So you typically have one for each library. And then we have the user accounts as well. So typically these are one per device or one per set of devices. And you can see here everything that you could configure right now in the server-side config file, you could change here, and it's all within your gift to change it. So it's things like which item types you block, which fields you allow, the format of dates, and which fields that you want to hide. You'll also notice on the right-hand side of the screenshot there that we have the ability to change the SIP response mappings and also the system preference overrides, which I know some of you will probably use. So we're very excited about this. And like I say, it should be a 25.11 right now for those of you who are already upgraded to that version. Just a brief note about ERM or electronic resources. There's not been a huge amount happening in this area, but we have done some very specific enhancements and important enhancements as well. So in particular, support for Counter 5.1 format, which came out last year, but also new ERM dashboards as well. So this is a widgeted style dashboard, and you'll see more and more of this as in the near future in other modules of Koha. So this is where you could drag and drop little widgets on a home page to display different bits of data. We've also done some work on additional fields as well. So that means you can add extra fields for agreements, licenses, resources, and so on. So that brings all of that into the ERM module. We've got a few enhancements planned. So in particular, we're planning to update the data summary page to make it more readable, improve the counter logs table, add a harvest all function within the user interface. You could do that right now with the background job, but not in the UI, and also allow for multi-month. There are a few things we're planning to work on in the near future in terms of fixes. So in particular, optimizing the data provider loading page, which at the moment is very slow. So we're going to improve the performance of that. The yearly monthly view consolidation, again, just improvements to that really. If you reharvest some data, then at the moment it doesn't overwrite the data that's there. So that's important that we fix that, and also a new interface for the month picker as well. So this is the e-resource management homepage that I was talking about with the widgeted dashboard. So you can see that we deliver 4 widgets, and hopefully other people will add widgets later. But you can customize those widgets by adding them, removing them, and moving them about. So it's a great enhancement, and hopefully, as I say, you'll see it in other parts of the system in the near future as well. For interlibrary loans, there's really too much to talk about. We've been doing a lot of work on that. So importantly, what we've done is to change the workflow of interlibrary loans. So as you're probably aware, previously you would effectively define the source of your interlibrary loan before you started. So you would have picked your Libris or your British Library as the source and then created the interlibrary loan. We've flipped that on its head so that now there's simply a generic interlibrary lending form, and that's where you start. So everybody completes the same form, and then staff members pick the most appropriate source to get the interlibrary loan from. In the case where you might use multiple providers, and I appreciate that you largely use Libris in Sweden, but in the UK, we quite often have a choice of 3 or 4 different places where you can retrieve an interlibrary loan from. So perhaps somebody like Reprint's Desk or the British Library or another Koha library, and so on. So the workflow allows you to intelligently choose the best source depending on availability and cost and so on. So that's very exciting. We've also introduced, importantly, the ISO 18626 standard. So if you're not familiar with ISO 18626, it's the international standard for interlending. It replaces the old ISO 1016061 standard that's now defunct, and it allows any compatible ISO 18626 system to talk to another. So obviously this is something that Koha now supports. At the moment, there are a limited number of other library management systems that support it, but it's supported by Alma right now, and it's also going to be supported by the British Library in the near future, and we're hoping there'll be more adoption as time goes on of this standard. The benefit of it is that the standard dictates the requester and the supplier. So at the moment, we've done the requesting side of the borrowing side of that standard, and we're in the process of adding the supply side lending as well, which will hopefully be coming in at the end of this year, 2611. And what that means is that you'll be able to request material from other libraries, and they will be able to respond back to you saying whether they're able to supply it or not. So that's important, I think, in terms of the whole interlibrary lending workflow. What it also means is that two Koha library systems can talk to each other. The borrowing side of interlending is embedded in the core of Koha as of 2605, and then the supply side will be in Koha as a plugin in 2611, and at that point you'll be able to do the interlending between two Koha systems. The beauty of ISO 18626 is it fully integrates with circulation, and you can receive status updates from anybody you're working with. So here's the new form. As I mentioned, there's no need to pick the source first of all. We just, in this case, enter a DOI and it automatically populates the rest of the metadata from that. And then here is the multi-source screen that I talked about. So in this case, we've actually got 4 different sources embedded, and you can see that it's seen that InkDocs is available right now. So we can just go ahead and choose that as it's the most reliable source. This is the new Interlibrary's homepage, and again we're going to add widgets to this homepage as well in the same way that I showed you for ERM, so that this is the next module that will get widgets. And again, you'll be able to add, remove widgets, and here we could just see an interlibrary loan widget with statuses. And this is on the borrowing side right now. So you can see on the left-hand menu bar, we've got borrowing and lending. So we could be somebody who's borrowing material or lending it from somewhere else. If we're doing an ISO 18626 transaction, then it will check the availability on the other source, and we could confirm it in the module. And in this case, we can see it's available there from 2 libraries, and we can pick the one to request from. If you're acting as a supplying library, then new interlibrary loan requests will automatically come into your system via that standard, and then you'll be expected to interact with the request to say whether you are expecting to supply it, in which case it'll place a reservation on the item, or whether you might want to ask the requester to retry later on if you haven't got it available right now. Another big project we've been working on is a refresh of the acquisitions module. And again, this is a big project. We have a community work group that meets fortnightly to look at this project. There's progress already, and there is a permanent sandbox available on our Sandbox's website if you want to go and have a look at the progress that's being made. There's a lot of work still to do on this project, so you probably won't see it until 2711. But if you want to go look at the sandbox, then it's there and you could start to have a look at what's potentially coming. Just to point out that in the sandbox, there's a acquisitions refresh tab there, which you need to use rather than the standard acquisitions one that you would normally expect to use. But we're very excited about this project and we think it's going to produce some big enhancements. Okay, I want to move on to talk a little bit about Aspen Discovery now. So for those of you who don't know, Aspen Discovery sits on top of Koha or other library management systems and provides some enhanced OPAC functionality that is not available in the current Koha OPAC. We're very excited because we've just started working on a project, an Aspen Discovery project with Bibliothèque Malinhua, and that has literally just started in the last few weeks, and we've done a translation, and that translation is now being fixed because Google translations aren't always perfect. But Aspen Discovery itself provides some very specific features. So it's a discovery layer. It engages people. It's widely used across the world right now, and it's as with Koha, it's supported, developed by a number of people in an open source community, including OpenFifth. And we're very sort of committed to adding new functionality to it as time goes on. So the benefits of Aspen Discovery is that it gives you a richer front end to the standard Koha OPAC, and also integrates other sources rather than just the print library catalogs. So ebooks, e-journals, databases, websites, and now importantly, events as well. And it allows you to search across all of these sources, but also gives you a personalized user experience as well. So things like recommendations. And the idea is that we maximize engagement, and that's important for libraries, as you know, to bring people in towards you and help support your own funding. It's responsive, so you could use it directly on a mobile phone, or it does also come with an accompanying app, which is called Leader, the Library Discovery app. And that's available on Android and iOS, and you can download that from the App Store and install it on your phone or your tablet and use Aspen with a different mobile experience that allows you to do some additional features like scan barcodes, check out books directly from the app, and so on. So just to give you a flavor of what Aspen Leader looks like, I've got a few screenshots here. So you can see the tiled display on the left-hand side there for a book carousel. So it's very much designed to look and feel like interfaces you're familiar with, things like Netflix and so on. There's a full patron area where you can check your loans, check your reservations, check your loan history, and so on. And then on the right-hand side there, you can see integrated content with print books, ebooks, CDs, and so on. So Aspen does a great job at consolidating all these different formats together, what you might know as Ferberization, bringing content types together into one record. Some other things to mention about Aspen Discovery, it's multilingual, as I mentioned, so there's already a number of translations. We've just added Swedish. It's fully accessible, so it's designed to work on any device. You can brand it in a very customized way. So if you have multiple branches or you're in a consortium, then you can have different themes per consortium, or you might have a theme for your public libraries and a separate theme for your school libraries. Aspen is specifically designed to engage users, and it does that in a number of different ways. We've just introduced an events management element to Aspen, which we're very excited about, and I'll show you in just a moment, but also community engagement. So there's a new community engagement module, and this was done in partnership with the Aspen Library in the US, and it allows you to run your campaigns. So in the UK, we have a big program in the summer called the Summer Reading Challenge, and the way that works is you give benefits to the user to encourage them to read books. So, for example, after they've read 2 books, you might give them a bookmark or a pencil from the library or a tote bag, but you can base that on how many books they look up. You can base it on how many books they read or how many books they reserve. So you can set the thresholds for how you encourage them, and then they receive the rewards at the end of it. So you can see we've got a little cup there, which is our reward. A big project I've been working on recently is events. So this is a native events module. Aspen already supports integrations with services like LibCal, but this is its own inbuilt native events module. It allows you to create events for your library. It allows people to add events to their calendar, to register for events, and on the staff side, it allows staff members to track attendees at events, and limit the number of people that could attend them, and so on. Okay, so we're looking at Bibliothèque Malinois Aspen Discovery, which is, as I said, is brand new. Let's just go across here to the language dialogue and set it into Swedish. And you can see all the text has been changed now. In the drop down, you can see that we can search the catalogue or potentially other sources as well. So that means we'll be searching across potentially websites, events, ebook content, e-resources, and so on. Okay, let's just do a search for the Tuesday Murder Club. Aha, I forgot. It's not the Tuesday Murder Club. It's the Thursday Murder Club, of course. Should have known that. So you can see Aspen has intelligently returned the books for the correct title. It's worked out that it is the Thursday Murder Club. And you can see here that this is where we've got the Ferberus. So we've got print books, ebooks, all grouped together. And we've got a link here through to Libby. So we could just do a little preview through the book if we want to. And obviously we can check it out from there as well if we've got an account, a Libby account. Just to give you an indication of how the other ebook content works, let's just try a different search this time. And we've got this book here, Inferno. So again, you can see there's different versions of this book, the ebook, the e-publication, online content. And again, these are accessible online if we want to have a look at those. But let's just show the editions for the ebook. We've got multiple editions. If we actually click the link to access it, these are all ebooks that have been harvested. So they're free ebooks that have already been harvested. So it's quite useful if you want to add additional ebook content. Okay, let's move on and have a look at some other examples. So this is Glasgow Kelvin College, and interestingly enough, they're an academic site. So Aspen is suitable for academic sites as well as public library sites, and you can see it's been starred by them, and they've done it in these very colourful tabs with additional menu links to some of their other resources that they have in the library. So again, let's just do a search here. And what you notice this time is that we have a bento box style view, and we've got the books on the left-hand side, the print books. But on the right-hand side, we've got ebooks, and we've also got results back from the website. So this is college websites that they've crawled and indexed inside of Aspen. So we've brought multiple content sources together. And this is West Sussex Libraries, who have recently gone live with Aspen. And again, you can see they've got this carousel on the front page, and then some new titles, and then some featured children's titles as well. And if we go back to the top, you can see they also have got some additional pages, what's on, how to use the library, joining forms, and so on, other services that the library supports. Again, let's just do a search, keeping the dead. And again, you can see the Ferberized results here. And again, you can see different content types, books, ebooks, audiobooks, music, and so on. You can see here, they also have this integrated with Libby. So again, we can preview the book from Overdrive. And we've obviously got the option to check it out as well. This is Sefton Libraries, and they've got quite a different homepage with all sorts of contents, events, some local history content as well, their Instagram feed and so on. And again, if we just do a search here against the combined results, you can see what you'll see is they've integrated their events into the search as well as the other content that they have. So if we just go ahead and do this search, we could again see searches for the library catalogue from partner websites. So this is local authority council websites. But if we scroll down to the bottom, we can also see that we've got lists and events. So these are events that are coming up in the library. And these are events that are configured through the events module in Aspen. So if we click on one of these, you can see that we can register for the event, add it to our calendar, and we can see the audience and categorizations as well. Right. Just finally, this is actually our demo system, just so I could show you the My Account features here. You can see that we've got some titles checked out, we've got some overdue books, and we've got reading history campaigns that I'm subscribed to, and so on. Reading history is used to inform recommendations, as are things like ratings. So recommendations are made of books that I've perhaps liked, reviewed, or borrowed previously. And this all adds up to the personalization aspect of Aspen Discovery. Okay, finally, let's just do a search on music. And just the last thing to point out is you can introduce these placards, and placards are banners that are attached to keywords and can be put in front of the user based on specific search terms that they use. So in this case, they've searched for music and it's put up a banner to highlight resources from the BBC Sounds app, podcasts and so on that they might want to go and listen to. So that's also a great feature. We always get this explore more bar as well, so that on every search result, we're looking here in the print catalog, but maybe we also want to look at web pages or the digital content, the archive or events or something else. So we always try to be pointed in different directions. Okay, I think we're just about out of time. So I think we'll wrap it up there and just see if there are any questions.